addressed.
For someone who has campaigned on the national front, you have vied for presidency, you have a national outlook, so to speak. How is it now focusing on just one county?
It's interesting. Remember, there are not very many days remaining. For a national campaign, I prepared myself and was out campaigning for 2 years, basically, in order to cover the entire country. But now for Kirinyaga, I'm spending time since nomination, traversing every nook and cranny in this county, and be assured that doing door-to-door, doing small targeted meetings at shopping centers, Kirinyaga is big enough to engage me. I'm yet to complete, but we are doing well, and it's really very interesting and great.
You have more than 20 years of experience in the country's politics, but still you have very big competition from one Anne Waiguru in Jubilee and say the incumbent as well. What really are you bringing to the table for the people of Kirinyaga County?
Let me first say I don't know what you mean by big competition. Noise in the media isn't big competition. I am taking all the other candidates seriously, and I am marketing my agenda and that of, our joint agenda with my running mate. I am marketing a single product, and that is the Karua Gitari ticket. And that takes my day, morning to evening, daily.
So what are the biggest issues you seek to address for the residents of Kirinyaga?
One of the issues is to safeguard their resources, to utilize them optimally for their benefit. And the main issues are health. We all need to be healthy to get about our business. Our children need to be healthy to go to school. So we are going to be spending money on health to improve health services. Remembering health is devolved. We intend to address infrastructure issues, human resource issues. We would like the health personnel to be fully engaged in serving the people of Kirinyaga, not demonstrating for lack of pay and for lack of, having their emoluments and other issues addressed. So we'll be focusing on infrastructure, health infrastructure, on human resource, and on ensuring that medicines and all other props that are necessary for addressing health issues are available. We would want the people of Kirinyaga to get accessible and affordable primary health care, all the residents. And we would like to have all the diagnostic tools available here in the county, and it is possible. Secondly, we'll be focusing on education, because our children need education so that they can be able to exploit their full potential. We'll be investing in education and cooperating with the national government, because we are already aware that the national government is also investing heavily in education. The main issues for the county in education are the ECD, infrastructure and personnel, and the infrastructure for the rest of the education, because the physical infrastructure, that is, our schools need classrooms, they need other buildings, they need whatever support they can get. And because we have been, the president has promised Kenyans when he is re-elected, and I'm sure he's going to be re-elected, secondary education is also going to be free except for boarding. So we will be cooperating with the national government
All
to
right.
address educational issues.
All right. So for
And education
yes.
covers also the tertiary colleges, which
Okay.
are under the county. And I haven't gone to agriculture yet. Infrastructure, water, electricity, tourism, environment,
All
all
right.
those issues. Every issue affecting the people of Kirinyaga is going to be our issue.
Okay. So some of the biggest things you will be looking at in your manifesto are health, infrastructure, and education, as well as agriculture. Macharia, here in studio, let me just bring you in.
Yeah.
For you, what will you be focusing on?
Thank you, Akisa. I want to have a very pragmatic approach to development in the county. And when you look at the county, you have to agree that the county is much smaller than a country. And therefore, you need to have a much more focused approach to development. And that's why my tag is to bring prosperity to every family in Kirinyaga. And my strategy is to look at the livelihood strategies of the people in Kirinyaga. And if you look at our county, the majority of the people depend on agriculture for their livelihood. There are other livelihoods, but what we're going to be focusing very much on, in order to bring income and then to progressively bring wealth to the people of the county, we are going to focus on developing agriculture. And we need to bring in fresh thinking and run away from the rhetorics that people are used to. Because if you look at the problems of agriculture, many people have been focusing on production, improving production at the farm level. But also when you talk to people, the biggest problem that the farmers are grappling with right now is, especially when you look at the horticultural crops, is first of all, storage. Because once they harvest, they do not have cold rooms to store their produce. And that also affects the market. And once we put a proper infrastructure for that, then we're going to go to marketing. Because, it needs to be a whole complete chain in agriculture so that you are able to market this produce and fetch very good prices at the market. But also you need to be able to, look at processing of agriculture commodities. And then also, this applies to also cash crops like coffee, because we know the upper part of Kirinyaga is predominantly, coffee and tea. And then when you go to the lower zones, you have rice as a cash crop. But
Okay.
then you have the horticulture farming, which is also, practiced by quite a number of people. So
All
that
right.
is agriculture. We look at agriculture not just from the production point of view, but we also look at storage, and we also look at marketing of this produce so that we are not, we do not have a glut in the market in the sense that the farmers have produced a lot,
Okay.
but they have no markets.
All right.
And the way we want to look at this, if I can give you a very good analogy, is we need to look at the livelihood strategies that bring income into the household. Then we develop that so that people have income. And then we go to issues that affect household income. And that could be matters of education. Right now, we know that education from primary and then also secondary school is going to be free from next year. So that is not going to be a big burden on the households. We look at matters health, because that is also another burden that eats into the income of the households. So we have a very elaborate plan for health. We are going to, one, we have to ensure that we bring access, because in health, we are looking at two things. We have access. That means can everyone in the county access health services within reasonable distances. That is one of the things that we're focusing on.
Okay,
Number two, what we want to focus on in terms of health is the quality of these health services. How are the level of training for the doctors and nurses and other practitioners and service providers in health. That is one of the issues. Number two, do we have the right equipment in the hospitals? That is the other thing that we also look at in terms of health. Number three, and that is very important, is in terms of financing, because we need to ensure that we risk-proof our households. So we have to come up with an elaborate plan of ensuring that the households are insured, and we have plans like NHIF, and we are going to come up with also a negotiated plan between the county government and NHIF to ensure that we provide health insurance to all households.
All right.
That issue that we're going to...
All right, I'm sorry, I'll have to cut you short. Pretty much one thing comes out from both your manifestos, agriculture. The people of Kirinyaga are known widely to be farmers of rice, tea, and coffee. And for years, they have been complaining that the county is not getting the value addition from the contribution they make to the country's GDP. So what are you going to do, Martha, back to you, that Governor Ndathi, the incumbent, hasn't done to uplift the lives of the farmers and ensure that they get what they deserve in terms of income?
Well, our approach will be transformation through agri-business, creating value chains. This is something I had already thought of as an MP for Gishogo, and we had already built, using CDF, a bulking center. At the county level, we will look at creation of value chains for the farmers so that we can be able to do value addition before they get to the market, putting farmers together to get better markets, investing in extension services for production, looking at irrigation, because our farmers are heavily relying on irrigation all over the county, not just for horticulture, but also for many other crops and for the rice in Mwea. Water is a big issue. We'll be addressing those issues and cooperating with the national government to ensure that water storage, the proposed Rukenya Dam, which is in Gishogo constituency, its building is accelerated, and we look at other points where we can do storage. So let me once again say it's transformation through agri-business, creating jobs for our youth and creating better incomes for the families.
All right. I would want to engage you and Macharia for a bit. Do you think that he will pose a great competition to you in this particular race?
I've talked to Macharia, and I have respect for him, and everybody will get their votes. I do not want to be the one to assess a candidate, a fellow competitor, but I would want to promise them that I'll give them a run for their money. My eyes are on the prize, and I'm in this to win.
Macharia, Martha is a big name in Kenyan politics that you're taking her on in the Kirinyaga County gubernatorial race. Does it give you any jitters? Are you a worried man?
Thank you, Akisa. Well, not at all. I'm not worried. As you can see with what is happening with the electorate now, I think people are getting fatigued about these big names. Now they want a fresh start, and that's where my chance is. I know, well, I might not be having big money, but I'm going to give them a very good run as well.
But big names have proved to be a very big asset to many in the Kenyan politics. Does that not worry you? Because Martha indeed is a big name.
Well, yes, Akisa, like I've told you, the electorate now are getting fatigued about engaging big names. I think it's been demonstrated in many places. Even if you look at what just happened recently, people want a fresh start now. They want people who can bring new thinking and new ideas into Kirinyaga politics. And that's where my best chance stands.
Martha, do you think he has a valid point that it is time for fresh ideas and fresh people into the political scene?
Fresh ideas can come from everyone. The fact that I have experience doesn't mean that new thinking, I've come to the end of thinking. But the best test of whether people want experienced hands, tried, tested, and people who have a history of delivering, not gambling with the county and with the services that people expect. We just have 54 days to see who is right on this. I have a good feeling, a very positive feeling. But I want to say I will not trash Macharia. I've met him and I have respect for him, but I can promise him I'm in this to win.
Martha, for a while you had been seen to be against Jubilee, and Kirinyaga is largely Jubilee, but just the other day you took a turn and now supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta. What informed that decision? Was that decision made for convenience?
Let me say this, that realignment close to a general election is indeed the order of the day in our politics. If I remind you, just in case you may not be aware, in 2007, President Uhuru himself was in the opposition and he was the official leader of the opposition. He indeed trounced the government jointly, teaming up with Raila Odinga. They trounced us during the 2005 referendum. But close to the 2007 elections, there was realignment when Uhuru made a decision to support Kibaki's re-election. This is the order of the day. If you look at the who is who in the opposition camp as we speak, who is who in the government camp, you will see that there has been realignment. It's the order of the day. But I want to assure you, I took an informed decision, having played in both teams, knowing both sides well. I think that I made the right choice to support the re-election of President Uhuru while seeking my election as a governor of Kirinyaga County.
Macharia, you are vying with a party that is not seen to be very popular in Kirinyaga and part of Central because it is a stronghold, really, for Jubilee Party. Have you managed to make any inroads, and do you think you stand a chance with Maendeleo Chap?
Thank you, Asidwa. Let me bring you on board very fast. If you remember very well, Maendeleo Chap is an affiliate party of Jubilee. During our inauguration, we had the presence of the President gracing our event, and he said very clearly that he is in support of Maendeleo Chap, and we agreed that on that basis, then we were not going to field a presidential candidate. We will entirely support President Uhuru. And on that basis, then, you know, we went to the ground. We've been to the ground, and we've gone to many places. And I like it, you know, the message that is coming from the electorate clearly, you know what they call madoadoa back there at the ground. They are saying that this time round, the issues of suits are long gone. You know, the way initially, in the past elections, people used to talk of voting a six-piece. Now, that is gone. The leaders are going to be purely voted on the basis of merit and not party affiliations. I know there's been that idea of you know, the Jubilee candidate in Kirinyaga trying to create the impression that you know, people are entirely for Jubilee and that they are not going to support other candidates. But you know, that is just in their minds. If you go down there, the reality is people are now not looking at the party as such, as long as you are affiliated to the party in which the president is vying in.
So you're not worried about a six-piece at all?
Not at all. It's not even going to happen. I can bet on that.
I would want to hear what Martha has to say about that. Let's just take a short break. Martha, coming back, I would want to hear your thoughts on voting on a six-piece suit, among other things. This is Choice 2017. Let's take a short breather. We will be back with more. Don't go too far.